kind of an interesting looking something more than just a plank or two, maybe a structure.
That could be where the treasure's hiding.
I detected gold.
Oak Island's lost treasure is real. History Channel confirms a $350 million jackpot. Rick Lagina and the crew have found it. Gold bars, artifacts, and manuscripts untouched for centuries. This isn't speculation. This isn't rumor. This is proof. Every chest, every stack, every corner of that chamber screams value beyond imagination. The world is watching. Rival crews, researchers, and treasure hunters all know what's at stake. One misstep, one wrong move, and it could vanish. This discovery changes everything. Centuries of mystery solved in one strike. The treasure is real. The scale is massive. And the impact is global. So, before we dive into the depths of Oak Island's most staggering discovery, make sure to hit like and subscribe, because what you're about to see could rewrite history. The excavation season roared to life, machines shaking the ground as soil and mud flew in every direction. Yet something unusual happened almost immediately. A strange vibration ran through the money pit, subtle at first, then unmistakable. Every operator paused mid-motion, cameras focused, capturing the trembling earth. A metal detector signal pierced the air. Silence fell like a curtain. Rick Lagina's eyes narrowed, scanning the area with a calm intensity. This wasn't ordinary treasure. Something enormous, something deliberate, lay beneath their feet. Drone imaging and sonar scans painted a picture that defied belief. A massive void, cavernous and deep, large enough to hide a vault the size of a small building. Whispers spread among the crew. Could this finally be the legendary $350 million treasure that had haunted Oak Island for centuries? Careful hands began removing layers of soil where the signal was strongest. Slowly, a circular stone hatch emerged, unlike anything previously uncovered. Its surface was etched with cryptic symbols, worn yet unmistakably deliberate. Marty and Rick exchanged a tense glance, the weight of the moment pressing down on them. Even the seasoned veterans of Oak Island held their breath as GPR scans revealed tunnels twisting away from the hatch at impossible angles, like the veins of some ancient secret. The symbols seemed a hybrid of Templar and Phoenician scripts, whispering of secret societies and centuries-old mysteries. The hatch itself exuded purpose, sealed as if to protect or punish, reinforcing the island's infamous curse. Engineers and experts gathered around as the team prepared to open the hatch. With painstaking care, the lid was lifted, revealing a steep staircase carved directly from stone. Dust and a faint golden glow escaped from below, carrying the scent of decay, wood, and centuries of metal. The cameras captured Rick's silence, a rare stillness in a man known for measured focus. Marty's voice trembled, breaking the hush. This is it. At the bottom, a massive wooden chest rested, encrusted with 6 centuries of mud and mineral deposits. As the lid creaked open, golden light flooded the room. Coins, thick and hand-minted, gleamed alongside jewel-encrusted goblets and intricately carved relics, each piece whispering secrets of medieval craftsmanship, lost voyages, and secret societies. Craig Tester lifted the first handful of coins, tracing the raised edges and feeling the weight of centuries pressed into gold. Some bore the familiar cross of the Templars, while others carried cryptic symbols that defied immediate interpretation. Experts examined the metal, confirming what the team could scarcely believe. These coins predated known American settlements by hundreds of years. Some appeared to have European origins, while a select few hinted at Phoenician craftsmanship. suggesting a connection to civilizations long thought to have never reached the New World. As the coins were meticulously catalogued and scanned with 3D imaging, their monetary value was quickly estimated in the tens of millions, yet the historical significance far outweighed any price tag. Close examination revealed faint inscriptions, almost invisible to the naked eye, suggesting these coins were more than currency. Some lines of text resembled fragments of a map. Others hinted at ritual significance, as if the coins themselves were intended to guide or protect something greater. Marty leaned over a single coin, magnifying glass in hand, whispering to Rick, "This isn't just gold. It's a message." The team slowly realized the treasure might not merely be a collection of wealth, but a deliberate seed of knowledge, left by a secret society centuries ago for a purpose still unknown. Beyond the coins, the chest held artifacts that seemed almost impossibly preserved. A silver goblet, its surface etched with intricate royal designs, glimmered even under the dim light of the hatch. Experts suggested it could be French or Spanish, likely ceremonial, and possibly belonging to a noble or religious order. Wooden statues emerged next, painstakingly carved, depicting medieval kings and family scenes with unmatched precision. Every facial expression, every fold of fabric seemed intentionally detailed, as if each figure was meant to convey a story to those who would find them centuries later. Among the treasures, a fragment of cloth caught Rick's eye. The fabric, naturally dyed, bore a red cross, unmistakably associated with the Templars. Its fibers, though fragile, retained a faint glow under close inspection, as if holding a memory of its sacred past. Scientific testing confirmed the age of these artifacts, over 6 centuries old, dating firmly to the late medieval era. Each piece told a story, not merely of wealth, but of a deliberate effort to preserve history. The goblets, statues, and cloth were not just treasure. They were a preserved slice of civilization, hidden and protected through the ages, waiting for the right hands to uncover them. The team began to understand that Oak Island's secrets were not just about gold, but about the survival of knowledge and ritual across time. Beneath the chest, the team uncovered a more haunting discovery: human bones, partially preserved and unmistakably centuries old. Forensic analysis suggested a single individual, possibly a knight or dedicated custodian of the hoard, deliberately placed as a guardian of the treasure, a final sacrifice to protect whatever lay above. Rick's voice was low as he observed the remains. This treasure came with a cost, and perhaps the curse was real. Every artifact, every coin, and now these human remains hinted at a purpose beyond wealth, a story of secrecy, ritual, and warning. Driven by this revelation, the team turned to technology. GPR and sonar scans revealed a labyrinth beneath Oak Island far beyond anything imagined. Tunnels twisted and turned like the veins of some ancient organism, interconnected in ways that suggested deliberate design. The main vault glittered with coins, relics, and sacred artifacts, but beyond it lay hidden corridors leading to even larger caches of treasure, documents, or objects of immense historical significance. Some passages showed engineered flooding. Others reinforced walls of sophisticated design, blending security, artistry, and centuries-old ritual architecture. Rick and Marty moved cautiously, mapping each inch, realizing Oak Island was more than a treasure site. It was a multi-layered puzzle, centuries in the making, testing anyone daring enough to uncover its secrets. Symbols repeated themselves throughout the chambers and tunnels, on walls, artifacts, and fragments of cloth. Crosses, coded markings, ceremonial motifs. They hinted at Templar involvement. Historical analysis reinforced the possibility that the Knights Templar or related secret societies had reached North America long before Columbus. Some researchers hypothesized that what Oak Island held was not merely gold or coins, but a collection of religious artifacts, forbidden knowledge, or the tools and documentation of a sacred mission deliberately hidden from the world. The alignment of tunnels, the precise orientation of vaults, and the pattern of chambers resembled ritualistic blueprints used by secret societies to safeguard their most valuable possessions. As Rick observed the intricate stonework and cryptic symbols, he murmured, "This is not gold. This is a message from the past, hidden until the world was ready." The weight of that realization settled over the team, infusing every measured movement with reverence, caution, and awe. The legendary curse of Oak Island loomed larger with every new discovery. 6 lives had already been lost in pursuit of the island's secrets, and now every hazard, the sudden storms that swept across the site, machinery failing inexplicably, toxic gas vents releasing from hidden depths, felt like a warning. Team members reported eerie noises echoing from the tunnels, sudden cold spots that seemed to follow their path, and strange glows that danced across the walls in moments of near darkness. Some dismissed these as coincidences. Others, especially Marty, speculated that the island itself was resisting intrusion, a living protector of centuries-old secrets. The tension was tangible. Every step forward weighed against the possibility of danger, both physical and supernatural. Each scan, each measurement, each brush with history blurred the line between legend and reality. The tunnels and chambers were no longer just engineering marvels. They were conduits to a past steeped in ritual, secrecy, and sacrifice. A reminder that Oak Island demanded more than curiosity or greed. It demanded respect, intellect, and perhaps even courage beyond the ordinary. With every foot advanced into the labyrinth, the team felt they were not just unearthing treasure. They were stepping deeper into the consciousness of those who had built it, confronting a legacy that had waited centuries for someone capable of understanding its full significance. The faint glint of gold, the whisper of ancient messages in symbols and inscriptions, and the human sacrifices discovered below the vault all reinforced the idea that Oak Island was far more than a repository of wealth. It was a carefully orchestrated narrative, encoded in stone, metal, and soil, a challenge to time itself. Every passage revealed more about the island's intent. Flooded channels were not random. They followed patterns suggesting ritual cleansing or a method to ward off intruders. Some side tunnels were blocked by carefully placed stones, seemingly meant to hide chambers of even greater significance. The geometry of the vaults aligned with cardinal points, hinting at a celestial or sacred design. As the team traced each corridor, GPR readings indicated voids too large to be natural, each likely containing additional treasures or documents that could alter historical understanding. Symbols repeated in subtle variations, suggesting a language or code lost to the ages, a cryptic form of communication meant only for those initiated or worthy of comprehension. The deeper the team went, the more the island seemed alive. The hum of machinery, the wind through the trees above, and even the distant cries of seagulls faded into the background, replaced by an almost spiritual awareness. Rick's gaze lingered on every carving, every coin, every shard of artifact. Marty's hand trembled as he brushed away soil from yet another chest fragment. The bones found below the vault, the coins marked with unknown scripts, the goblets and statues, all pointed to a civilization that valued secrecy, ceremony, and perhaps an otherworldly purpose. Each corridor, each chamber, seemed designed not merely for protection, but to convey a lesson, a warning, or a message encoded in the very fabric of the island. As they advanced, the supernatural undertones intensified. Glows of unknown origin flickered along the walls, cold drafts swept unpredictably through the tunnels, and subtle vibrations hinted at forces still active beneath the island. The curse of Oak Island was no mere legend. It was woven into the engineering, history, and perhaps spiritual purpose of the vault. Every misstep, every miscalculation carried risk, not only physically, but in the deeper design left by those who created this treasure. Aware of the stakes, the team moved to meticulously examine every artifact retrieved. Coins were weighed, scanned, and chemically analyzed, revealing alloys and minting methods consistent with medieval Europe, some bearing inscriptions hinting at secretive societies or ritual significance. Cloth dyed with natural pigments and marked with a red cross, reminiscent of Templar banners, underwent fiber analysis, confirming ceremonial origins. Bones were radiocarbon dated to the 14th and 15th centuries, suggesting custodianship and ritualized burials. Silver goblets and wooden statues displayed craftsmanship tied to noble European courts and ceremonial rites, their forms and carvings hinting at allegorical messages or teachings intentionally preserved over centuries. As the scientific results emerged, the team understood the magnitude of their find. Monetary valuation alone could not capture the historical importance. Experts estimated $350 million in tangible worth, but emphasized that Oak Island represented a nexus of archaeology, anthropology, and secret society history. Each item confirmed the island as a carefully orchestrated repository, designed to endure the passage of centuries, blending treasure, human remains, and cryptic symbols into a single narrative. The team realized the artifacts represented merely a fragment of a deeper story. Tunnels, chambers, and perhaps documents or objects of equal significance remained hidden, waiting for discovery. The revelation ignited global attention. Media outlets reported the find with fervor. Historians speculated on pre-Columbian exploration, and international researchers began weighing in on the implications. Some pointed to the possibility that the treasure contained information capable of rewriting chapters of history, suggesting that secret societies from Europe had reached North America centuries before conventional records acknowledged. The excitement was tempered by suspicion, as footage from the dig showed military helicopters hovering restricted areas of the excavation site and edited sequences that raised questions about what might remain undisclosed. Discussions swirled. Was Oak Island a mere treasure hunt, or the gateway to a hidden archive designed by centuries-old orders, containing knowledge deemed too dangerous for the public? With scrutiny mounting, the team prepared for deeper exploration, cognizant that any further discoveries now carried not just historical responsibility, but global attention and significant risk. The first vault, though fully excavated, had transformed from a simple hoard into a documented piece of human history. Each artifact was carefully preserved, photographed, and catalogued for scientific study, ensuring that future generations could analyze and interpret its significance. Rick and Marty reflected on the decade-long journey, years of painstaking excavation, personal sacrifice, and near misses that had culminated in this historic moment. Their perseverance had turned Oak Island from legend into concrete history, yet the island still held mysteries that no amount of labor had fully unveiled. Even with $350 million in confirmed treasure, the sense of incompletion pervaded the site. Sonar and GPR readings continued to indicate voids and unexplored chambers beyond the first vault. Symbols etched into walls and scattered artifacts hinted at messages yet to be decrypted, clues designed to guide the worthy or conceal knowledge from the uninitiated. It was clear that Oak Island was far more than a repository of wealth. It was a deliberate archive, engineered to challenge those who sought its secrets while rewarding those persistent enough to uncover them. The global community had begun to recognize Oak Island's importance. Scholars debated its connection to Templar societies, Phoenician explorers, and other secretive groups, while archaeologists marveled at the engineering feats achieved centuries ago. Government interest, whether out of curiosity or concern, remained an unspoken shadow over the excavation. The team's work now carried stakes far beyond personal ambition. They were uncovering elements that could reshape historical narratives, challenge assumptions about exploration and migration, and reveal practices of secrecy, ritual, and preservation unmatched in modern understanding. The island's atmosphere, too, had shifted. Reports of sudden storms, mysterious lights, and structural anomalies within tunnels reinforced the idea that Oak Island demanded respect. The legacy of its curse, previously regarded as legend, now felt intertwined with the unfolding historical revelation. Every dig, every measurement, every careful lift of soil reminded the team that they were dealing with forces, both human and natural, that had been calibrated over centuries to protect the secrets below. The delicate balance of caution, technology, and intuition guided their actions, ensuring that discoveries were not damaged, misinterpreted, or lost to time. Artifacts were displayed for detailed scrutiny, showing layers of history that could only be understood in the context of centuries of secrecy. Coins that bore impossible inscriptions, goblets that reflected ritualistic practices, and human remains all combined to create a narrative of deliberate preservation, signaling that the builders of Oak Island had intended this knowledge to survive, yet remain hidden. The interplay of these objects demonstrated sophistication, foresight, and a depth of planning that suggested motivations beyond greed, pointing instead to preservation, secrecy, and perhaps a moral or ceremonial directive to those who dared to uncover the island's treasures. Rick and Marty's reflections captured the personal dimension of the excavation. Years of persistent effort, financial investment, and personal risk had culminated in the transformation of legend into tangible history. The realization that Oak Island's first vault was only a fragment of the whole kept the team vigilant. Exploration was far from over. Uncharted tunnels, hidden chambers, and undeciphered symbols remained. The stakes were higher than ever, as each additional discovery could expand global understanding or unveil secrets with consequences that reached far beyond treasure alone. Oak Island had transitioned from myth to documented history, yet the spiritual warnings, curses, and coded messages endured. The team, now custodians of both wealth and knowledge, understood the responsibility they carried. Every movement within the tunnels, every examination of an artifact, and every decoding of a symbol became part of a broader narrative linking past to present. The world watched, historians speculated, and Oak Island, centuries old and enigmatic, continued to guard its remaining secrets with the same deliberate design that had preserved them for generations. With the first vault fully unearthed, catalogued, and studied, the stage was set for the next phase of exploration. The tunnels continued beyond, filled with potential discoveries that could dwarf even the $350 million treasure confirmed within the initial chamber. The balance between legend and reality, caution and ambition, persisted as the team prepared for deeper excavation. The artifacts, coins, cloth and bones had already rewritten portions of history, yet Oak Island, with its labyrinthine design and centuries of secrets, suggested that the most profound revelations were still hidden, waiting for those persistent enough to follow the path carefully laid out for generations.